everyone, welcome back to our weekly market update video featuring by Marketsall and Rationale. Before starting, please take a quick moment and hit the subscribe button to support us for more content like this. I just want to start with a quick year-to-date update to wrap up on financial markets, what has happened since the beginning of the year. First up, currently global trade chaos is back. Markets initially got a boost when electronics from China were supposedly exempt from new tariffs, but that didn't long last. Mixed message from Secretary Lutnick and President Trump put some a doubt on the exemptions, and then came a fresh export restrictions on Nvidia's chips to China that cost Nvidia a whooping around $5.5 billion. From market cap. That the S&P 500 is down 10% year to date. It's I think fifth worst start in history. Markets hate uncertainty for sure, and right now the uncertainty is everywhere. There's a growing chatter about the recession thanks to these ongoing trade wars. Economists now see around a 45% chance of recession within 12 months. That's a double what it was just at the beginning of the year. And when you go to check the Atlanta Fed GDP estimate for Q1, it's a minus 2.2%. Still, we don't see such signals from the hard data on the labor side or on the economic growth side. But soft data started to suggest such thing. But yeah, it's something that we can say that the market started to be cautious on it. And at the end of last year, US stocks were the US exceptionalism, they were traded at around 86% premium over Europe. But now international stocks are outperforming since the beginning of this year. Small caps tied closely to domestic economy are down 16%, and the USD is going down. It's falling really fast, down 88% already since the beginning of the year. Gold seems like the champion for up until now. It's up 27% this year and on track for its best annual return since 1978. Inflation adjusted number, it's hit an all-time high, finally surpassing this 1980 peak. And here's something to keep in mind, when we adjust for inflation, gold, the inflation adjusted peak is around 1,119 levels, and currently, its inflation adjusted number is $1,086. So if you look from that that perspective, and technically, and there's no way to say some upper boundary for gold for now. That's why this inflation adjusted calculations might be taken as some forecasting tool in order to where can it go more, what's the room. So currently sitting at 1086, and the peak is around 1100 levels. You can say such things. So technically there is still room to run, despite the fact that I'm personally doubtful on this approach. Doubtful, it's just letting you know that, because whoever says something about the gold's gonna turn reverse from here, what's the what's the benchmark? What's the what's the point? I'm questioning it a lot, and this might be one thing that I have seen while I read various reports. So I just wanted to share with you. Meanwhile, the Fed drama continues. Trump going after Powell, and financial media is starting to echo some of his points. When you look at the financial conditions index, which is pretty important in terms of Fed's decision making process on rates, it's tightest since the COVID era. and like a deflation risks are becoming real, like we might see that, like for now we can say that inflation risks are like kind of a bit pushed back relative to deflation or recession risk. That's why I think it's more important for from now on to focus on more economic growth related data or labor related data. And if we see some signs of weakening, especially in the hard data, that would be a sign that Fed might cut rates. And also there's like a political side. Powell is like under pressure from Trump. Yeah, let me now switch to charts quickly. First of all, I would like to start with the charts that I had shared last week and how they performed. So as you might recall that I mentioned this gold chart and the price was around here. This is 4-hour chart, by the way. I had mentioned this flag and like there was a squeeze, and this might be used as a buying opportunity. That's what I said. I mean, I wasn't thinking to be bearish on gold at that time. Still, I think I find it still risky to be against such strong trend, such strong momentum. That will be risky. So still, my idea of any kind of consolidation, any kind of pullback, I will be seeking to be long in some way. If you had managed to build a position from like let's say weekly, let's say this top with handle breakout or head and shoulder continuation, it's great. If you're following like market update videos, I had mentioned this gold breakout a lot, and like also Rationale, if you remember of like Rationale newsletter service, a lot of like a gold related trade ideas were sent to subscribers, so you can find both links down below the video. So let me quickly jump to oil futures, and when you go to the weekly chart, I had mentioned this descending triangle chart pattern, a breakdown and a potential. I mean, I had mentioned this like before this breakdown, but now it's pulling back to this support level of 65.25 levels around there. So I think if you want to be short, it's still, the opportunity is still there. But in the ongoing environment, like where US is pushing OPEC plus to increase the supply and like in order to control the inflation, because so what's US trying to do on the tariff side is kind of a trade war between like them and China. But the thing is that would push inflation up, and in order to politically to be supported, gas prices is pretty important in US political environment, and that's why they need to take inflation under control. And the best way to do it, just to go on to the point approach. Like if they can manage to control oil inflation, oil prices, they will succeed. So that's why they're just like pushing OPEC plus to supply more. In such an environment, I don't expect oil to go up. At least there will be like a limited up room. That's why my approach is to seek any kind of short, like bearish signal that I will get from oil. So that's why you can be short around here with if you want to be tight stop just above the support level, or you can put more if you want to play more like a long term. You can be like this with like a risk reward ratio. You can adjust it, but as you can see when you go to the monthly also, sorry, let me show you in weekly. It's better, I think. Yeah, this like this region. Apparently it's like a critical. If it loses here, we might see like a really strong move downside. So Bitcoin, this chart, yeah, let me start again. I had mentioned this like a weekly pull, like in the weekly charts, always this huge moves came after this kind of pullback, squeeze, consolidation, and always, as you can see, this uptrend is hold. And when you come to the daily chart, here, what I expect the same thing. That's what I had mentioned, to see some consolidation around here, then squeeze and a breakout. So when you come to the daily chart, I had mentioned this, there's like a rectangle chart pattern is being formed. It's not that huge, but if you want to be an early enter, this was the buy point that I had given last week, a potential breakout from this squeeze. And I had mentioned that you need to expect to see some low volatility before the breakout, and exactly what we had talked happened. After the low volume with low volatility, a breakout occurred with high volume. That's what we are looking for. So I would be like buying from here, then maybe I can sell here in order to not to risk my profit and use that profit as a buffer to be long a potential breakout from this rectangle. For now, I would like to sit and watch if this breakout from rectangle chart pattern is valid, because like it's like a daily bar. I want to see the close while I'm recording this video. It's Tuesday, and I would like to see if this breakout will hold. And yeah, if we see a weekly price is like weekly close is above like around like a 1991 levels, 1991k levels, it might trigger to another potential upward movement in like Bitcoin. And also that kind of movement, if it might go up, like I mean the upside is like for sure this 108k levels. If we see that, then we might see a rejection depending. Let's not talk about that, but for like a weekly confirmation, as I mentioned, the level is 1991k levels. If you see something above that would be a positive sign. But yeah, that's where we are right now. So dollar index. So in dollar index, actually, like that might be like yeah. So it's going really like in the month. It's going really like like the momentum is fast on the downside, but when you look at the monthly chart, as you can see, there's like a parallel channel and like uptrend is holding. And I personally expect to see some rejection from this area. And if we see some rejection from US dollar, with that mentality, I would seek for like some pairs to be long on US and against what? For me, USD South African rand seems like the best opportunity. This is also a monthly chart, like it's a huge move. If we see a breakout from this, let's say, top with handle, the momentum might be quite like a big. And when you go to the lower frame to play more like a short-term game, as you can see here, a smaller cup with handle formation is on its, seems like on its way, sorry. And it's like pulling back. So I'm waiting to see some consolidation around here to be long. That's why I'm watching USDZAR. I mean, when we see a reversal from here, that would mean that we might see, I mean, that would be the, like exactly around like the same time with this reversal from the reversal on dollar index. Here, if we see a return from here, we might see a reversal in USDZAR. As I mentioned, this reversal, I think that might be a good trade idea. So what can drive this USD reversal? That's the question. I think at some point there will be a like a, I mean, it's not this much low. USD is not for sure good for Euro or like Japan also. But the thing is, like, at some point there will be a liquidity issue on dollar side probably, and I don't know, like if the rates come down, that will be contradicting. But yeah, like since there's a lot of uncertainty, I don't think like it's right to like comment on more like a political stuff or like more like macro stuff on it. But as I mentioned, I will be watching this level to act on price directly. And another trade idea that I mentioned last week was Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. In the weekly chart, as you can see, there's a really nice head and shoulders top chart pattern, a breakdown, pulled back, and it's moving downside. And I think it still gives some opportunity. What's the mentality here? Since as long as this uncertainty goes on, and Japanese yen strength will be there, if we don't see any move from Bank of Japan or like a government side. But on the other hand, Canadian dollar is highly correlated with the oil, and as I mentioned, with the current conditions that are shaping oil prices, wouldn't let oil price to go up that much. I think that's why in that terms, like being long in Japanese yen against Canadian dollar might be a good option to trade. So this week I would like to show, like as a trade idea, maybe you can use as this like a New Zealand dollar and Japanese yen. So here really like a small 4-hour chart, and then shoulder top kind of chart pattern, as you can see, formed. And what's that mean? Like if we see a potential Japanese yen strength due to the uncertainty rising, you can be short on it around here with a stop here for our chart. That might be a good opportunity. And silver, I'm watching this in the daily chart, this rectangle chart pattern. If we're gonna see if it can catch up with the gold price. And wheat price, like I think like at some point with the uncertainty, this, let me show you like this. There's a really nice rectangle bottom rectangle chart pattern is formed here, and if we see a movement above $575, we might see the continuation of this uptrend up until here. Then we'll see if we're gonna see a breakout here, because wheat is kind of like correlated with the gold. It has been like that since like back in history. Like it's kind of an inflationary product at the same time. Maybe it's not the case for now, but just to keep an eye on it. And technically I think it seems good. And I'll show you a few cryptos apart from Bitcoin. Here, as you can see, Ripple chart, XRP, and this kind of head and shoulders top formation might act as failure chart pattern if we see a breakout from here, or we can see a breakdown. Then that breakdown would lead to like a downward movement. I think it seems like, okay, like we saw this like a huge spike here, but you know, that's kind of a nature of the crypto. But I will be betting on more like a long side on this. I'll be waiting to see some consolidation around here to be long, maybe early long. But if we see a further moves, so the first resistance is 2.60 and the other one is $3 level. Tron, as you can see, when you go to the monthly chart, sorry, weekly chart, my bad. After this cup with handle, huge breakout, that was perfect move, and the pullback. And when you open the moving averages, as you can see, still like a 10-week and 40-week moving averages holding this Tron price. And that's why, in order to be long again, I'm just like coming to the lower time frames, like a daily chart. As you can see in the daily chart, there's a really nice ascending triangle chart pattern at the bottom is formed. There was a fake breakout, and I'm expecting to see another breakout in Tron to continue its upward movement that was sourced by this weekly chart. And Solana in the weekly chart, as you can see, a potential reversal here would lead to form a cup with handle formation. And that's why, as an early entry, you can wait to see a consolidation around here, or you can wait for a breakout in Solana. So that's all I'm gonna talk about this week. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. I wish like whatever you see here is helpful. If you have any question, please write down below the comments, and we would be glad if you hit the like button, if you subscribe to our like Marketsall YouTube channel. Also, if you wanna get delivered all these trade ideas to your inbox directly, you can just like subscribe to Rationale newsletter service from the links below. I wish you a really nice week. Bye.